Hey guys, Buzz Glover here, and congratulations for making it to the fourth video here. I really commend you. It shows that you're interested in getting started in the business, or if you've already started, taking your business to a new level. So, once again, I highly commend you for sticking along for this ride and allowing me to show you as much as I can and teach you as much as I have learned from my experience within the business. And I think the success path, which I just recently created, will take a lot of the previous content that I've published and try to put it in perspective and try to put it in a chronological order and kind of show you these are the steps I need to take to get a business up and running and or take my current business, because I've already got started, and take it to a whole nother level. So that was my intention with the previous three videos, just to kind of review. In the first video, if you didn't see it, go back and look at it. It kind of teaches you the foundational type items: getting your office set up, licensing, choosing a name, get opening up a bank account, taking care of a lot of the foundational kind of housekeeping type items. And then I go up into education and I show you that there's probably 5 different products that you kind of need to have some framework and know a little bit about each product to get started. Then after that, I go into the core of the business. The 3 things that you got to master in this business, and it's not that hard to do. I did it. I was not a finance guy. I don't have a finance degree. I'm an ex-sales guy. Started out selling mailing equipment and kind of just lucked out, and kind of when I got hired by a bank in this business, I found out that it was a really lucrative business, both when you work for a bank and when you go out and broker loans on your own. So, but the core of the business is 3 things you need to master: find deals, how to package them, and then how to find a funding source. So if you master those 3 items within this business, then you're going to do well. And that's kind of what I get into. And that's kind of a continuous circle that you're going to be performing in this business. Then the last thing I show you is kind of what it's like to hit a home run in this business. So what happens when you get that big account, or you get that manufacturer's program, or a real estate broker brings you in to run their finance program and gives you 100% of their business. So that's kind of where I'm taking you from getting started all the way to hitting a home run. But my goal in these trainings are to take you from zero, where you probably are right now, to funding your first deal, which in most cases are really decent commissions. It's not unusual to see a 5-figure commission in this business. I typically didn't do deals unless I made at least a 4-figure. There maybe on a few occasions it was under $1,000, and then sometimes it can be upwards of high 5 figures. So when I say that, though, please go look at my earnings disclaimer. I don't want anyone to get into the business. I think it takes a while to kind of get your feet underneath you. And the other thing I always talk about in this business is that the startup costs are so low compared to almost any business you can get into. So one of the things I wanted to tell you is that in this 4th video, my purpose is for you to offer up to you my teachings and taking a deeper dive. And I've had a lot of people reach out to me because it's been almost a year. Actually, it's been over a year since I last launched a mastermind course. So I've had lots, probably hundreds of people reach out to me and say, when are you starting your next mastermind course? Well, I am starting enrollment today, and it allows you to take all those steps that I showed you very quickly in the last 3 videos and take a much deeper dive on that. Could you get started on with what I just showed you? Absolutely, you could get started. And by the way, if I would have had that success path when I got started, I think it would have cut years off of my learning curve. So that's the one thing that I'm kind of touting here is reducing the learning curve by getting into this mastermind life pivot mastermind course that I'm offering. So if there's one add value that I'm trying to get across to you, if you enroll in the class, I'm going to take your learning curve from possibly years down to a 9-week course. So that's kind of my add value proposition. And I think that compared to some of the courses out there, that you'll see that it's priced right as well. So just, in talking about that, I think about just recently I saw a Shark Tank. I mean, it was just this past weekend, and I love that show because I think you can learn a lot as an entrepreneur when you see those various entrepreneurs pitching their businesses to the various sharks. But the one business came in, it was like a milkshake company, and they were doing very well. I mean, I think they had like sales of 1.4 million or something like that, and they were netting like $400,000. And somewhere in that conversation, one of the sharks, I think it was Damon, said, "Well, why do you need us?" And the entrepreneur, the owner of the business, came back very quickly, and I loved the answer. He goes, "We think you could save us a decade." And that's kind of what my goal is in offering this course. So that's kind of a review of what I've already shown you. And like I said, you could get started with even some of the other videos that I offer out there for free. But if you're interested in taking the next step and you want to get into the mastermind course, please look closely at the rest of this video, because I'm going to take you through all the offering. One other thing I want to tell you is that part of the problem with this business is that there isn't enough skin in the game. And what I mean is that if you go out and start your brokerage and you have a couple $100 invested in it, because typically you don't need much more than that. Other than a website, you're probably not spending over at least maybe probably not spending over $1,000 for sure. So the problem is that you haven't invested a whole lot of capital into it, so you're much more likely to give up. The one thing that I always give to those higher priced courses, which by the way I think are very good. I don't have anything against them other than that they're overpriced. But the one thing that they do is to make you more committed to sticking with the game and staying in the business. So when you have skin in the game and you invest in a course like I'm offering here, or one of the other courses out there. And by the way, if you ever invest in another course and you want to reach out to me, I'll give you my honest opinion on each one of them. There are a couple out there that I would run from, but my point is that if you have some skin in the game, you're much more likely to invest or to take what you're learning much more seriously and put it to action. The other thing that I tout through all of my teaching is to take imperfect action. You'll even see that some of my videos aren't the greatest, even this one possibly, but it's taking imperfect action to try to get you to the next level and get you to the next step. And my goal is to make sure that all of you go from zero to funding your first deal, which will most likely pay for the investment in this class. So, okay, let me jump right in. I'm going to get back on my magic whiteboard here. Maybe I can just leave it here. And I'm going to go through some of the course highlights. And by the way, let me get rid of this here. I call it the Life Pivot Commercial Loan Brokering Mastermind class. I've launched probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 times, and it's been almost a year. So if you are thinking that you're going to jump into the next class, don't wait, because when I have other things on my plate, then I don't launch, because I mean, I like to, when I launch, I want to know that I can dedicate the time that I need to each and every one of my students. So with that said, let me roll down here and go to the course highlights and go through each one and kind of tell you what the course is all about. First thing, and the primary thing is to, hold on one second here, is to take you through the core of the class is about 100 videos. Once again, it takes you from zero to my goal is to have you fund your first deal. What I find is that after you fund your first deal, you get a lot more confidence and you kind of know the path at some level. So, each deal after that becomes much easier as you're learning the business. But the goal of this course is to take you from zero to your first deal. So I have 100 videos in this course, over 100 videos. And they're all short. I don't like to have long 20-minute videos. Some of them are as short as like a minute and a half. That's probably the shortest. Most of them probably average around 5 minutes. I think there's over 24 hours of total instruction videos, and then I have a ton of coaching calls. And I think, and I'm going to jump into that next. Maybe I should do it right now. The coaching calls can be as valuable as the course material itself. So I give you over 100 videos to take you through each step. And when I'm kind of jumping around here, but going back to the 100 videos, I take you through that success path, but I drill down on each one and I spend some time on each one and show you exactly how to master that part of it. Okay, so then the next part of it is let's go back to these 9 live videos. How I treat these videos, it's typically, I release modules, then I ask the students for questions that they have. Typically, they'll email them to me or reach out to me somehow, or write their live coaching calls so they can actually type in questions on the side, and it's a Zoom type platform that I use. But I answer questions from that previous week's learning, and I'll typically bring one topic in just to discuss beyond possibly what's in the course material, some of the nuances of the business and so forth. So, but I offer 9 live weekly coaching calls. I typically like doing them on Thursday nights around 7, but don't hold me to that. I always say that I can adjust that. I've adjusted them by half an hour, and I've switched days here and there, but that's kind of the schedule I'm trying to keep. So, but once again, I think they can be as valuable as the course material itself. So you got course material, you got the coaching calls, you have the 40th previous recorded. So I record all the coaching calls and I just put them in a library. The way I view that is you could start listening to them almost as a blog. As a matter of fact, I don't have them in a blog podcast, or a podcast type format yet, but it was something I was considering doing. But you can always sit down and listen to all the previous coaching calls to get brought up to speed on each. Like I said, I typically there's some outliers out there that I just thought were interesting subjects that you might want to know about, but the vast majority, I would say 90% of them, go over the course material and then some nuances of the business. Right after signing up, you get a free download of my book. That's a book that I have on Amazon called Business Loan Brokering 101. I'm looking around for it. I don't have it here. I would show it to you. But I have a book that I published on Amazon called Business Loan Brokering 101. It's pretty much an outline of what this deeper dive is. It's pretty much kind of what I showed you in the success path. I think I sell for $39 on Amazon. It doesn't get into the business nearly as much as I do within this mastermind program. So, but you do get a free download. It's a PDF file of the book. Okay, this one right here, the next one is access to the BizLoan Consultants funding source database. I have about 100 funding sources in there, just under 100 funding sources. Don't sign up for this course solely so you can get my funding sources. Like I said, I think funding source databases are very personal. My database won't be as good to you based on what you're doing as it was to me. But I do provide some good direction in where to start building your funding source database and what to look for. And actually, I do give you some pretty good national funding sources for equipment finance. And I kind of show you, one thing I don't have here on the course highlights, which I should, is my funding source cheat sheet, which it doesn't list out funding sources individually, but what it says is, hey, go to the Scotsman Guide, go to the Monitor for Equipment Finance, go to the Equipment Leasing Finance Association. It gives you I think it's 8 or 9 sources that you can go out and find funding sources for the business that you're trying to get done. So that's huge. But like I said, it's even though I give you access to my personal funding source list, you have to build your own. So one of the things I provide is access to all the forms and templates that you'll need in this business. If there's not one in there that you think you need, I'll create it, but I think I have pretty much everything covered. The nice thing about this business is that most of the forms that you require just kind of sometimes are just checklists to make sure you're asking the borrower for the right information. credit applications. I think I have a template of of a PR release. I do have 4 templates for brochures. And the reason that I have different versions of those brochures are one is for going after commercial real estate referrals. One is to leave behind commercial real estate borrowers. The other one is to go after equipment finance referral sources, and the fourth one is to go after equipment finance borrowers. So you have one for every instance that you're in, and you can. I realize that most people aren't handing out brochures these days, but you can take that PDF, put your logo into it, and when you have customers, you can use that as attachment within the emails that you're sending them and so forth. So I provide pretty much everything. I know there's a bunch more that I probably haven't mentioned here, but I provide you a database of all the sample documents that I've used and that I would see valuable within the business. The next thing is a free do-it-yourself website builder. I see that a lot of people get hung up in this business because they don't either want to invest in someone else doing their website, or they don't have the technical skills to do it themselves. So I provide you with a step-by-step way to build your own website. Just a little aside here is that technology changes so quickly. So if you go into those videos and the technology, the platforms have changed behind it and you're having issues, then you can call me out on it and I'll redo it with the most updated version. I think the version that I have in there is good though. If it's not, then I'll redo it. But it'll take you through step by step. And I've had some of my students show me their websites and I was kind of blown away by them. It probably took them a day or two to do it, but it save you quite a few dollars. This is huge right here, and I want to make it bigger. You have access to my private Facebook community page. There's already a bunch of members in there. I am not probably treating that group as well as I should, but I'm going to kind of make it a goal for 2020 to make sure that I am continuing to put content. Just this morning, I put in a link to all these funding sources that some would take new brokers, some would not. And it was just a way for me to inform. I get things sent to me all the time about people wanting me to use them as a funding source. So I try to share that. And then what I've had happen, but not as much as I'd like, is have students kind of work together. I know that a bunch of my students have started kind of making friends with each other and kind of sharing war stories. So that's that's the whole purpose of the Facebook group page, is to form a community of biz loan consultants that can all help each other get their deals done. So I highly encourage you, for that purpose alone, this group in itself would make the cost of the course worth it. So access to lender profile recordings. I think I only have about 4 recordings with various lenders. I want to do more of that in 2020 as well. They are a real learning experience. You'll see that when I'm interviewing these funding sources, it's kind of the same things you would want to ask a funding source, like what's your footprint, or like what geography do you cover, what are your deal sizes, what's the lowest deal size you'll go to, what's the highest. What are your credit requirements? Are you type of A credit only? Are you B, C, D? But I go through with 4 actual lenders that were actually vying. They'd love to get referrals from my students. And I just interviewed them, and they're probably anywhere from, 45 minutes to an hour of great listening on what lenders, how lenders treat brokers and how you just deal with them. So. Okay, next. Oh, you know what? I have this in here twice. Let's see. Imperfect action. I've already covered free do-it-yourself website. So the next one is a free trial, 90-day trial to T-Value Software. I don't know if I'm dealing with the owner, but it's someone high up in the management. They're offered to me that I could offer to my students a 90-day trial to T-Value. And what T-Value is pretty much your financial calculator, But the one reason that you'll need it is that every once in a while you're going to come across a deal that's going to require a structure that's kind of outside of what you'll be able to punch in on your financial calculator. So it's something that you're going to need in the business. After your 90 days, I believe it's very inexpensive, like only like $5 a month. But and I actually give you some classes, and I'm not sure if it's in the coaching videos or I actually have a module. If I don't have a module, I'll do one on how to use T-value. And what I mean is every once in a while you might get into a situation where there's a 90-day deferred payment or something like that, and you have to kind of map out all the how the structure of the deal's going, and T-value is a great tool for doing that. And I give you 90 days free use of it. So the last thing is a success metrics, probably something I should talk more about. The success metrics is a spreadsheet that I created that kind of breaks down what you need to do to be successful in this business. And what I mean by that is that if you have to call, say, if you have to contact or use my 7-touch program to reach out to, say, 10 different referral sources. These are 10 people that you're salespeople that you have target that can refer business to you. Let's just say that every 10 that you reach out to, that you close 1 or 2 of them and they start referring business to you. Then you take a look at the average transaction size that these sales reps are sending you. And it breaks down and allows you to back into what you need to do on a daily basis to meet your goals. So it breaks it down by, how many people are referring business to you, what the average transaction size is, what your approval ratio is, because like I said, in this business, you're only going to close about 3 out of 10 deals. So if it's 30%, you put 30% in the success metric. It's really highly valuable in trying to create a plan for what your earnings are going to be. And I think it's kind of spot on what you need to do as far as taking actions to achieve your goals. So you can kind of back in, hey, if I want to make a 6-figure income or replace my current income, here's kind of what I need to do. So that's kind of it for that. Let me take you back on the website. If you're on this page, and I'm kind of on the page right now, and you scroll down, the next thing you're going to see, one last thing. I have an early enrollment period where I charge, it's like a $500 savings if you would pay up front. I do have a monthly payment program as well, and I'll get into that in a second. The 1-hour coaching call, I used to offer it to everybody, but now what I'm going to do is provide an incentive, because one of the things I hate happening is everyone signing up at the last minute. So if you enroll early and you're before the early enrollment date, then I will offer you a 1-hour coaching call free of charge with me, one-on-one, and we'll go through your whole business, and I'll tell you what I think you need to be doing and what you could be doing better, and any help that I can give you to, once again, get you to that first deal. Or if you've already been doing deals and you just want to take your business to a new level, maybe I can coach you on how to get to that home run or some other area. But I'm allotting 1 hour to everyone who enrolls before the early enrollment period ends. So, okay, so if you scroll down on this website now, you could see I go deeply into what I cover each week. Week 1, I cover kind of just an introduction, and I get into the foundational things again, but I get into them in a much deeper level. Week 2, I get into the core of loan brokering, which is kind of understanding all the different and having a better education on all the different products you can offer. Week 3, I get into how to find deals and marketing, and get into it way deeper than anything I've shown you or anything that's out there that I've published on YouTube. Week 4, I get into packaging your deal. And week 5, I get into how to find a matching a funding source to the deals that you're finding. Week 6, I get into the documents, the sample documentation, any types of documents that you'll need. Week 7, I get into growing your business and getting into expanding your business possibly beyond yourself Do you want to hire a credit person? Do you want to hire another salesperson and you do the credit? Things like that. I also talk in 2015, I spent a year in what I call a super broker type situation. So I kind of inform you on what my experience was in that. Week 8, I get into all the associations that you can join, the trade magazines that are out there, any books or videos that go beyond what I'm teaching, any certifications that you can get within the business. And then I actually get into some bonus modules as well. A fast track checklist. So like, what do you need to get done to get to that first deal? Setting up your CRM, how to handle success. One thing that I think that I did wrong when I first was very successful in the business is I started getting involved in other businesses, and when I probably, in hindsight, probably should have kind of stuck to this business and spent all of my time on it because it was much more lucrative. But you'll get to see that in that bonus module. And the last one is what to do if you have bad credit. I kind of show you a snowball type effect way to pay down your credit and boost your credit score very quickly so you can get back in the game. And then week 9, it's kind of a bonus module. I kind of just do a wrap up one-on-one. I do any one-on-one scheduling for those who enroll early, and then any other type of content. So as you scroll down, you'll see when you first sign up, these are all those bonuses that I talked about. And then finally, when you come down, you'll see that I charge, if you get in the early enrollment period, I charge $197 a month for 12 months. So you are paying a premium if you do it monthly, or you can pay me one time for just under $2,000 at $1,997, which is $367 off the regular price. So I do have a 14-day 100% money back guarantee, no questions asked. So if you get in the program and 14 days after your enrollment that you don't want to continue, just you just reach out to me and I will refund your money and no questions asked. Now, one thing I did want to show you is that there are a bunch of training classes out there. There's the real high $65,000 one. There's one that I know of $18,500. The one that I took after I was in the business for about 3 or 4 years used to be $10,000, but now it's $13,000. And then you see on the end here my Life Pivot Mastermind training. So the other programs, all 3 of them require you to fly in. You have to get lodging. You have to pay for your meals. So they're beyond the expense that they are charging up front. You also have to consider all these additional expenses. A lot of them are, I don't think any of them have a continuous education. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But mine is a learn at your own pace. You're always going to have access to these videos. Although I am going to start putting a deadline. I don't want to call it a lifetime membership, but I do want to say that maybe 2 years after you join the course, you'll have content for at least 2 years, probably beyond that. My intent is to give it to you forever, but I just don't know legally if I can do that. So, but let's just say you get 2 years of access to these videos, so you can always come back to it. And that's actually great for those who are looking to do this as a side hustle. So there's a community that I have on that Facebook, which I think is bar none one of the greatest values of the class, where you can start sharing information with other brokers and they can help you. And like I said, one of my goals for 2020 is to make that community much more robust. I have the guarantee. The others, when you get in, you pay them up front. I don't think any of them have a payment plan. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but in the past they did not. You pay them up front, and that money's gone. If you get into mine and 14 days later you're not happy with it, just let me know and I'll refund the money. Weekly coaching calls. I don't think any of them have a weekly coaching call. So mine's spread out over 9 weeks. And you can ask anybody who's been through the course. I continue to support people for months and years after they take the course. There's guys I still talk to, even though I haven't launched in over a year. Okay, 2 convenient payment options I already talked to you about. One thing I do want to tell you, if you get involved in the 12-month payment program, it is a contract. I don't. What happens sometimes, because the investment is so low in this business, is I get students enrolled in the class, they pay me okay for 6 months, and then their credit card expires and they don't update it, and then I'm kind of feel like I'm fighting with them. I just want to let you know that if you get involved in that program, you're serious about the business, then you have, it's a 12-month program. You have to pay me for 12 months. And I will certainly deliver. If I don't deliver, you can call me out on it. I think that I go above and beyond in everything that I do when it comes to trying to get you to that first deal or to take your business to a new level. So, but I just want to point that out. Lastly, there's savings. The deadline for this is, where the heck is it? Oh, God, I don't have that in here. I believe it's a week from, let me just look this up real quick. It is, the enrollment opens today, so you could join today and start taking advantage of all the things I'm talking about. And then the early bird promotion ends a week from today on the 22nd, on November 22nd. So I'm not sure, you could be watching this later. If you are, the early bird ends on November 22nd. In the past, I've been lax about that, so I'm not going to do it this time. If you want to get in, you want to take advantage of the program, and you want to take advantage of the better pricing, then I think it's 11 p.m. Eastern on November 22nd you have to sign up by. If you sign up after that, I'll still let you in, but it's going to cost you additional money. And then the cart finally closes the week after that at the higher dollar amount. So lastly, what do you get by joining today versus waiting till, say, the deadline of the early bird? First of all, you can get started. That's the biggest thing. Get started, take imperfect action. You can download my book right away. You can listen to the old coaching calls right away. You can listen to the lender profiles, which might be a little bit out there because you're not going to be educated depending on where you are in your business, but you can start getting a feel for the business. You can enroll in the Facebook group page right away. And I also give you access right away to modules 1 and 2, which are the foundational type things. So between now, when the cart is open, and when the class actually starts, you're going to have about a 2-week period. This is going to allow you to do a lot of these foundational items. And like I said, just get started, watch the videos, take advantage of all these additional bonuses that I'm giving you. And it'll be helpful to start today versus waiting till the very last moment that you can get involved in the early enrollment. So I think that is it. If you have any questions on anything, or if you know somebody who's interested in getting started in their own business, I tend not to like to talk about this, but if you'd want to share this program, I could give you one login for 2 people. And where that gets a little dicey is in the Facebook group page. I've had husband and wives do it, where I've let the husband was out kind of working his day job, and the wife was kind of getting this business up and running, where I let them both in. And I'll allow that here. But getting back to what I was trying to say is that if you have someone who's interested in getting started in the business, please share this with them. Also, if you have any questions about the program, just reach out to me at sglover@bizloanconsultants.com. Oh, and one last thing. If you have not scrolled down to the bottom of the page, if you scroll down to the very bottom of the page, as promised through all the previous videos, I do have the downloads for the Success Path. You just click on this, and it takes you to a page where you can download either a poster-sized version of the Success Path or of an 8.5 by 11 version of the Success Path. So I made good on my promise to provide the bonus download, and there you have it at the end of the 4th video. So appreciate it, and I look forward to working with all of you. I hope that you'll sign up today. And once again, if you have any questions, just reach out to me, and I'd be glad to answer them for you. Get started, take imperfect action, and I think this business will give you the lifestyle that you want, and if you do well in it, you can actually earn really great money at it. So Once again, thank you. Buzz Glover here, Biz Loan Consultants, and hope to see you in the mastermind class.